think the roosters approve. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Kenroy here. Now today we are finally harvesting something which I've been super excited about, and that is to harvest our Alyssa Craig onions. Now these guys have been swelling up nicely. We've had quite a bit of rain, and it's now time for us to finally pull up some of these onions, get them into storage to start drying out before enjoying them in our meals. Now guys, if you're new to the channel, please do us a huge favor by subscribing, as well as clicking the little bell notification so that whenever we upload a new video, you'll be notified. Now it's so nice to finally be able to harvest in our garden some of the produce which we've planted months ago, and yeah, like I said, these onions are finally ready to be pulled up. Now we did grow these from sets. Well, I say these were gifted to me by one of my colleagues at work, and I've never grown this variety before, but so far I've been really impressed. And so today we're going to be harvesting some of them. And if you look closely in the back here, we've got some of what I've grown, guys, and these ones were grown from seed, and these are a lot smaller, but no doubt they're going to be super tasty. And these ones were just some generic ones which we grew from seed, which is my first time actually doing that, so I'm really proud of these, but they're not quite ready yet to be harvested, so they can stay put while we get some of these big guys out the ground. Now I won't harvest all of them all at once. I'll just take a section, maybe some of the larger ones, and then later on we'll come back and get the rest. So what I've learned so far, guys, you've got two types of onions typically. You got what is called a soft neck variety, which are like these ones. They normally go floppy once it's time for them to be harvested, and what that basically means is that the leaves, which obviously pull nutrients from the onion bulb, stop basically collecting nutrients, so it's basically being cut off, and so it's time for them to be harvested. The bulbs will typically not get much bigger now that they've sort of flopped over, they've swollen to their maximum amount. If I show you over here, here's another one that has completely gone over on itself, nice and floppy. What we're going to have to do is remove these ones in particular and leave them to dry out for a few days and to cure. And what that basically does, it allows them to store for much longer, and I'll probably show you how I'm going to leave mine out to cure. But first things first, let's get these guys out of the ground. Okay guys, so our first onion pull for 2024, let's see if we can hear it come out the ground, and look at that, guys. Isn't it a thing of beauty? That's our first onions, and believe it or not, this is one of the smaller ones. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just going to pull them out, guys, shake off the excess soil, and what we need for the next few days is to put these somewhere nice and dry and warm so that it can basically get these necks dried out before snipping them off for storage. So you can stay there, see which other ones we can get. Let's get this big one here. Ooh, it's a nice size one there, guys. Now onions are so easy to grow. Once you've got them started, all they need is nice rich soil, plenty of water in, and this is what you could end up with. Another good size one there. Get this guy who's completely bent over. I think the roosters approve. Let's get this guy here. I mean, I could literally harvest all of these because they're pretty much all falling over. It's a really large one here. See, that one is well and truly gone, and that one, oh, that's by far the largest one so far, guys. Look at that, beautiful. And one of the things that we need to do is allow them to dry out, so the outer skin, you know, those annoying bits you normally peel from the onions to protect it, these need to dry out, and so we definitely got to put these in the drying rack to dry for a few days. Okay, so I'll probably leave this one because it's still upright. This one it's gone over, but it could probably stay. Okay, I'm probably just gonna uproot all of these except for this guy who is still standing pretty tall. But yeah, these ones are all flopping over, so I don't want to risk them rotting. One of our fellow YouTubers, Tracy's allotment, mentioned to me that we've got to be careful with onions because they can actually start rotting in the ground, so I can't really afford for that to happen. So just gonna bite the bullet and get all of these harvested, guys, because the last thing I'd want to do is to actually lose any of these beauties. I mean, look at that, stunning. And there you go, guys, our first onion harvest of 2024, and I'm really impressed with these, if I'm being honest. Now I know I've still got some more to come from the ones that we grew from seed. Much smaller, these ones. However, an onion is still an onion, and so I can't wait to harvest them. I've also got some over here in our vegetable raised bed, which I will be harvesting soon. These were also grown from seed, so I doubt they're going to get as big. The variety isn't as big as the ones that we've just harvested. However, I'm still really grateful that we've managed to grow some, so let's see how we get on. Okay guys, so I'm going to leave these out on the grass to dry for a day or so. We're not predicting any rain, and then after that I'm going to move them into our shed. I'm going to leave them suspended so that they can dry out, and then we'll be able to clip those necks off. And once the necks have been chopped off, we can then take them inside the house for storage. Okay guys, so it has been about a week and a half since we've harvested these onions, and I've since put them in our shed. I wasn't too sure as to whether this was the best place for them, as it can get quite hot in here. However, they seem to have held up pretty well. I mean, look at these guys, they're all nice and crispy. The actual main part of the stalk has actually dried up, so these are, you know, really ready to be sort of cut off, and you can then take them into the kitchen. And I just love the way in which they've just sort of like dried out, and I'm not even sure what you call this outer layer of onion. As Shrek says, onions have layers, guys, and I'm super happy to see these layers. I just can't believe how lovely these look, and we can't wait to actually get these in the kitchen to start cooking with them. Okay guys, so I've always seen this thing online where people, after harvesting their onions, sort of made a string and actually get to tie their onions, and I'm going to actually give that a go today. I kind of quickly had a look online, and all I saw was literally make a string like this. Make sure you hang it on somewhere where obviously it will be supported. And then you get your largest onion, or one of your bigger onions, and you simply put it inside of the string and maybe just wrap the actual stalk around a few times. And that will basically anchor your onion in, stop it from falling out. And then you basically rinse and repeat. You do the same thing with another onion, and I'm talking as if I've done this before, guys. So I'm curious to see how well this actually worked. Potentially I should have done this with the onions before they became so dry, the actual stalk of the onions, but I think we'll still be able to do it. So yeah, just rinse and repeat, staggering them to a slightly different pattern or however you see fit. And the cool thing about this is that the onions actually get supported by the weight. So the heavier the onions, I guess, the easier it is to basically do this. And you can see that it's starting to take shape. So you probably don't want to use too many onions on this. I've harvested around 11 or 12 here, and I think that's probably a good amount, especially for this type of weight of the onions. If you've got smaller ones, you could potentially put even more on there, but I think that because the onions that I've harvested are pretty large, it's probably a good idea not to put too much. And once I'm done, I'm going to cut away some of this excess foliage, which has dried up now anyway, and just to make it look a bit neater. And if you were somebody who harvests a lot of onions, I could see how attractive this could be to have this hanging in your pantry while your onions dry out. You can simply go in your kitchen, in your pantry, and just remove one. Now I'm sure this isn't going to be the nicest one because I probably should have brought these closer together, but I'll do my best anyway and see how it looks. I think what you want to try and do is get the onions to, the string to actually come as close to the onion as possible, but like I said, this is my first attempt, so I'm not going to be too harsh on myself. But I'll tell you what, you can already start to feel the weight of this string after adding quite a few of these onions. So yeah, you definitely don't want to overdo it. I'll tell you what guys, they make this look so easy online. However, I think I still got to do some more practicing. Okay, now this is my last onion to go on here. And yeah, seem to be working at the very least. They're not falling out, which is great. Aesthetically wise, I'm not sure how great it looks. Like I said, perhaps I should have done this before they started drying out. Who knows? It's all a work in progress. What I'm going to do now is basically snip off some of this excess dried up leaves, and then we'll have our sort of a ball of onions which we can then take inside. Okay guys, so here you go. Our onions are all tied up, and I must say that does look a lot better than how it started now that I've trimmed off all of the excess. Is it perfect? No. However, it does look really nice, and now it's easy to actually store these. It's a great way to store your onions, and so I'm going to be taking this inside now, so I'm really happy with this overall. So that's it from me guys. Our first onions for the year have been harvested. Let me know what you think. Did we do well? And how are your onions getting on? If this is something that you're growing as well, let me know in the comments down below. As always, this is Kenroy signing off for another day. Take care and God bless. Happy growing.